Good morning. Just realized the closet's open. All right. So once I can find this, doop. I'm so excited. Apparently that page wants to come out. Cool. When you're on, say hey. When you watch the replay, say hashtag replay. Working on sharing this in the safe space. If you're not in there, say group below and I will get you invited to that one. Whoops, where'd it go? There we go. Oh, goodness. I don't know where I want to be. My chair, like, I can't reach my computer, but maybe this will work. Say hey when you're on. Dang it, I'm not down far enough. Share to a group. Just need that paper. Okay. Say hey when you're on. Tell me where you're watching from. Hopefully that's in the right spot. All right. Hey, I can click share to group right on here. What does this do? Oh, cool. That's easier. Okay, I'll get it right sooner or later. It's okay. Learning as we go. That's cool. Okay, now I don't need that. Say hey when you're on. Say hashtag replay when you watch the replay. All right. Good morning. It's Thursday. I had to take a break yesterday on social media. I completely skipped the entire day yesterday. I laid down and I binged watch clickbait all day long. All day long. Good morning, Amber. And I relaxed all day. It was fabulous. Went to bed earlier than usual. It was so good. So, all right, we are here and we are ready. So, welcome to day 3 of our mental clarity challenge. Today we are going to talk about validation. So yesterday we worked on, or day before we worked on dumping our thoughts, getting all the surface thoughts out, and trying to reveal those underlying thoughts. We worked on getting silent and listening to what comes up after the silence, okay? The biggest thing to remember is to write through the silence. The underlying thoughts is what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get rid of the distracting thoughts and get to the underlying thoughts and figure out what has been keeping us in our ways for so long. What has been keeping us, whether it be stuck or moving in a direction that we don't want to move anymore. Like, what is controlling our life? We want to get to the underlying thoughts, our subconscious thoughts, okay? So the underlying thoughts, whenever you've done something for so long, you become programmed, and that is how you live, okay? So like subconscious thoughts are like blinking and breathing. These are the things that we just do because it's what our body has done. I mean, since we were babies, you know, like we were born breathing, blinking, like twitching, you know, like when a muscle has some kind of like spasm, like we don't control that. And our subconscious thoughts, it's something that it comes up because we've been programmed to believe that way, okay? So these are what we want to get to. And for me, when I started writing my book, these are the thoughts that came up for me. And the biggest one was love equals hurt. I believed that if someone wasn't hurting me, they didn't actually love me. So I looked for areas where people were hurting me. And I was like, you know, that person loves me because they're making fun of me, or they're, you know, doing this or doing that. And the more that someone would hurt me, the more I felt like they loved me. So I would lean into them even more, and in turn got a lot more hurt, okay? So that was one of them. Marriage ends in divorce was another one. I believed that because everyone else around me had been divorced, that everyone got divorced. And I was afraid to marry my husband. We were engaged a 1.5 years into our relationship. And I decided to separate because I, like, at the time I didn't realize that it was commitment issues, but knowing now, I self-sabotaged our relationship because I was afraid to get married, because I believed that all marriages ended in divorce, and I did not want to be another statistic. I didn't want to be that person that got married and then 6 months later, a year later, whatever, got divorced, okay? Divorce wasn't an option in my mind because my parents had been divorced and a lot of people around me had been divorced. There was one couple that was in my life that they were married for 25 years and then they got divorced, and it was shocking, honestly. It was one of those relationships where they didn't get along behind closed doors, and all of a sudden they were divorced, and we're like, what? So for my husband and I was like, there's no such thing as divorce. Like, once we're married, we in it till the end, you know? So that was one thing, but I had to be able to work through the underlying thoughts that came with marriage ends and divorce, which also equated back to the love equals hurt, okay? So I honestly, like, I hurt others because I believed that love equals hurt. And once I started hurting my children emotionally, I was like, this isn't okay. I don't want to do this. So that's when it really became apparent that I wanted to change my ways. I wanted to be able to shift my future for myself, for my family, and for my kids. That's when I took an intentional detour, okay? The next one was money doesn't grow on trees. We heard that growing up so much in our lives. We would ask for something and we're like, we don't have money for that. We don't have the funds for that. There's not enough money for that. Do you believe money grows on trees? Like, it was always the saying. I'm like, yeah, but you have money for the things that you need, that you want. Where is that money coming from? As kids, you know, it was like a weird thing for our parents to have money because they go to work, obviously, and that's how they made money. But we didn't, you know, surely if you have money for the bills and you have money for your extras, you have money for us to be able to do the things that we want to do and get the things that we want to do. But knowing now as an adult, I'm like, yeah, I can see where that would be frustrating. So my kids, they're like, I need this and I need that and I need this. And I'm like, put you down, okay? We planted a money tree in our kitchen and we wrote at the top, money grows on our tree. And we put money on the tree to keep the idea that money is ever moving. Always. Money comes in, money goes out, always. You know, there's no reason why we can't have that money, okay? What we're going to do is reveal and shift. So today is kind of the beginning of the shifting process of looking at those underlying thoughts to see whether they fit in our lives or whether they need to go, okay? So I want you to look at what you wrote yesterday and look at the underlying thoughts that came up. Some of them, so for me, love equals hurt. That is not true, okay? Love is hugs. Love is kindness. Love is laughter. Love is all the good in the world. Okay? Love is not hurt. And once I was able to see that, things shifted in my relationship with my husband and my kids and my family. And now when they hurt me or when they say something that hurts, I am able to stand up and be like, dude, that hurts. Don't do that. And it makes a huge difference. And then they're like, oh, yeah, shoot, sorry. You know, and it creates a whole new conversation. So we're able to do things differently. So I want you to look back through what you came up with. So for me also, marriage ends in divorce. That's not true. There are people out there that are married and have been married. My grandparents have been married for 65 years. Not all marriages end in divorce. Like, it's not true. So we can go back through these thoughts and ask ourselves these questions. Are these true for me? Do I want them to be true for me? Am I willing to carry these into the future? Which ones am I keeping and which ones am I tossing? Because all of mine, they're out the window. Like, bye. I don't want anything to do with you. I want to feel love in its true form. I want to be married with my husband till the end. Like, there's no going back now. And then money doesn't grow on trees. That's horse hunky. Like, I want to have all the money in the world. Not for richness purposes, just to be able to do anything that I want to do. When I have money, money is a tool and I can use it to get where I need to be. Okay. So I also want you to thank yourself for who you were when you believed those things. Because a lot of times we were using those underlying thoughts to protect us from something else. So love equals hurt. I pushed myself away from a lot of people because I didn't want to be hurt. I wanted to be loved completely. So I would push myself away from certain people to avoid getting hurt even more. And then marriage ends in divorce. I pushed my husband away a lot before we got married. It took us 6 years to get married. That's how scared I was to be able to get married and stay married. So I was just like, if I push him away, I don't have to worry about it. Like, we don't have to get married ever. And I was protecting myself from feeling the hurt of being another statistic and getting divorced, okay? And then money doesn't grow on trees. It was a way to protect me from the letdown of not having enough money, being broke. I was like, well, money doesn't grow on trees, so it's okay that I'm broke. Like, it's acceptable. Don't let yourself do that to yourself. It is okay to be where you're at, and it's also okay to grow and to move past those things that are keeping you where you're at. So, good morning, Don. Good morning, Casey. If you're comfortable, if you did this journaling with us the other day, I want you to drop a thought or two below that you came up with that was an underlying thought that you may or may not want to keep, or you want to keep, or you want something else to be true for you going forward. As you go, when you're a newbie, your underlying thoughts are going to look a lot different than if you've been doing this for a while. So for me, my underlying thoughts, those thoughts that I mentioned, those are underlying thoughts from when I first started doing this. And now that I know that those aren't true and there's something that I don't want to keep, like I said, money grows on our tree. Those are my new thoughts. And those are the new underlying thoughts that are going to control my moves going forward. Okay? So as you do this, you're going to shift and you're going to grow and you're going to become someone different than who you were when you started. And that's what you really want to do, because if you don't want to be stuck, you want to be able to grow. You want to be able to learn and to be able to shift your thoughts into better thoughts that are going to help you move forward. So now that we've asked the questions, I want you to go back through your thoughts that you had, your underlying thoughts, and I want you to, beside the thoughts that you want to let go, I want you to write let go. And beside the thoughts that you want to keep or implement going forward, I want you to write adapt. And I want you to make it clear to yourself which ones you're letting go and which ones you're adapting. Yeah. So, final thoughts. You are enough for everything that you want in this life. And being where you were doesn't mean that you have to be there in a year from now. Shoot, even 6 months from now, 3 months from now, whatever it is. You have the ability to shift your life right now. Okay? I will see you tomorrow for uplifting and empowering. I am pumped for tomorrow. You better be here. I will see you again probably 8 o'clock a.m. tomorrow. So, bye-bye, guys. Have a great day.